Queen Elizabeth says she wants Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, to be known as Queen Consort when Prince Charles becomes king. She made the announcement in a message marking the 70th anniversary of her reign.
For years, the British royal family has carefully projected an image of unity, discipline, and unwavering tradition. Every appearance is planned down to the smallest detail, every public engagement follows centuries-old protocol, and every senior royal understands that even the slightest disagreement must remain hidden behind palace walls. But according to recent royal speculation and reports circulating across various media outlets, one private meeting inside the palace may have shattered that carefully maintained image. What allegedly began as a routine discussion over an upcoming royal engagement quickly escalated into one of the most uncomfortable confrontations staff members had ever witnessed. At the center of the controversy were two of the monarchy's most influential women, Queen Camilla and Princess Anne. One is the king's wife. The other is his sister, widely regarded as one of the hardest-working and most respected members of the royal family. And according to the reports, when emotions finally reached a boiling point, King Charles was forced to make a decision that left everyone inside the palace stunned. But what really happened? Was this simply another disagreement over royal protocol, or did it expose deeper tensions that had quietly existed for years? Before we continue, let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoy royal documentaries and analysis, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for future videos. Now, let's begin. Inside Buckingham Palace, official meetings are rarely casual. Every discussion affects how the monarchy is presented to the world. Seating arrangements, arrival orders, ceremonial roles, and speaking schedules might seem insignificant to outsiders, but within royal circles, each detail carries symbolic importance. On the day in question, senior palace officials had gathered to finalize preparations for an important upcoming royal engagement. The atmosphere was calm. Documents were reviewed. Schedules were compared. Everything appeared to be proceeding as expected. Until Princess Anne noticed something unusual. According to reports, Anne questioned why several elements of the ceremonial schedule had been changed without following the established approval process. Those who know Princess Anne often describe her as direct but respectful. She is not known for dramatic confrontations or emotional outbursts. Instead, she has built her reputation on discipline, consistency, and strict adherence to royal tradition. Her question wasn't delivered with anger. It wasn't intended as a personal attack. It was simply a request for clarification. Yet inside the room, the mood changed instantly. Queen Camilla reportedly interpreted the question very differently. Rather than seeing it as a discussion about protocol, she allegedly viewed it as a challenge to her authority. Palace staff quickly sensed the growing tension. Nobody spoke. Nobody interrupted. Everyone simply waited. Because within the royal household, even a few carefully chosen words can completely change the direction of a meeting. What made the situation even more uncomfortable was Princess Anne's reputation among palace employees. Unlike many senior royals, Anne has spent decades quietly carrying out hundreds of engagements every year. She rarely seeks headlines. She rarely comments publicly on controversy. Instead, she allows her work to speak for itself. That long history has earned her enormous respect, not only from the British public but also from palace staff who have worked alongside her for decades. According to royal commentators, many officials naturally looked toward and whenever questions involving protocol arose. Not because she demanded authority, but because experience had made her one of the institution's most trusted voices. For Queen Camilla, that silent confidence may have felt intimidating. Reports suggest she believed her position as queen should naturally carry greater influence over ceremonial decisions. Instead, she found herself facing someone whose authority had been earned over a lifetime of royal service. The difference between title and experience suddenly became impossible to ignore. Witnesses reportedly described an increasingly tense atmosphere. Documents remained open on the table. Nobody reached for them. The discussion had moved far beyond schedules. It had become a debate over leadership. Then, according to the claims, Camilla finally responded. She allegedly accused Princess Anne of questioning her judgment in front of palace officials. The room fell silent. Anne, however, remained remarkably composed. She neither raised her voice nor attempted to argue. Instead, she calmly explained that her concerns centered solely on preserving long-established royal procedures. To Anne, Protocol wasn't personal. It was the foundation that kept the monarchy functioning smoothly. But emotions had already begun taking control of the conversation. Royal experts have often noted that disagreements inside the monarchy rarely begin with major conflicts. More often, they grow from a series of smaller moments. A seating arrangement, a ceremonial order, a scheduling decision. Each incident appears minor on its own. Yet together, they can gradually create lasting resentment. Some commentators believe this meeting represented the culmination of months, or perhaps even years, of underlying tension. Not because either woman openly disliked the other, but because they approached royal duty from very different perspectives. Princess and has spent nearly her entire life inside the institution. She understands every tradition almost instinctively. Queen Camilla, despite years of public service, entered the royal family much later. That difference in background has frequently fueled speculation about contrasting leadership styles. Whether those reports accurately reflect reality remains uncertain. But according to several royal observers, the contrast has often been noticeable. The discussion reportedly continued, and maintained her calm. Camilla became increasingly frustrated. Staff members exchanged nervous glances. No one wanted to become involved. Everyone understood that what they were witnessing could have lasting consequences. Then came the moment that reportedly changed everything. King Charles, who had been observing the increasingly heated exchange, finally intervened. Sources claim the king abruptly ended the discussion before ordering everyone except Anne and Camilla to leave the room. The instruction surprised those present. Within seconds, palace officials quietly gathered their documents and exited. As the doors closed, only 3 people remained: the king, his wife, and his sister. According to reports, Charles appeared deeply troubled, not simply because of the disagreement itself, but because it had unfolded in front of senior staff. For a monarch, perception matters. Authority matters. Discipline matters. Allowing visible conflict inside the institution risks damaging confidence in the monarchy itself. And Charles reportedly knew exactly that. Behind closed doors, the conversation allegedly became far more serious. No cameras. No advisors. No audience. Just 3 members of one family trying to navigate one of the most uncomfortable moments of Charles's reign. What happened next would reportedly influence one of the king's most significant internal decisions since ascending the throne. But before any decision could be made, another revelation emerged. According to palace speculation, this wasn't actually the first disagreement between Anne and Camilla. In fact, several insiders believe a previous incident during preparations for an official state event had already created lingering resentment between the 2 senior royals. And if those reports are accurate, that earlier confrontation may have laid the foundation for everything that followed. The private meeting had ended, but the tension inside the palace had not. Behind closed doors, King Charles reportedly faced one of the most difficult moments of his reign. This was no longer simply a disagreement between 2 senior royals. It had become a question of leadership, discipline, and the image of the monarchy itself. According to reports, Charles quietly listened as both women explained their positions. Princess Anne remained composed throughout the discussion. Rather than focusing on personalities, she reportedly emphasized the importance of protecting royal protocol and ensuring that established procedures continued to guide official engagements. Camilla, meanwhile, was said to have defended her actions, insisting that changes had been made with the intention of modernizing arrangements and improving efficiency. However, critics claimed that the issue had gone beyond scheduling. In their view, the real concern was that the disagreement had unfolded in front of palace staff. For King Charles, that distinction mattered enormously. Throughout his life, he had watched Queen Elizabeth II maintain remarkable composure regardless of the challenges facing the royal family. Personal disagreements were never allowed to overshadow public duty. Even during periods of intense scrutiny, the institution itself always came first. Now, Charles reportedly found himself facing the same responsibility. Would he support his wife simply because of their personal relationship? Or would he prioritize the traditions and discipline that define the monarchy? According to several royal commentators, the answer became clear in the days that followed. Rather than issuing a public statement or allowing rumors to dominate headlines, the king allegedly chose a much quieter approach. Sources claim that he reviewed internal reports prepared by senior household officials documenting what had taken place during the meeting. Unlike newspaper speculation or anonymous palace gossip, these reports were said to focus only on observable events. Who spoke? When the discussion escalated? Who remained composed? And how staff members reacted? Those details, according to reports, painted a picture that deeply concerned the king. Charles reportedly concluded that the greatest problem was not disagreement itself. Healthy discussion exists within every institution. The real issue was that palace staff had witnessed visible division among senior members of the royal family. If left unaddressed, such moments could weaken confidence in the monarchy's internal leadership. That was something Charles reportedly refused to allow. Soon afterward, a significant administrative decision allegedly followed. According to palace speculation, Princess Anne was entrusted with greater responsibility for overseeing preparations surrounding an important upcoming royal engagement. On the surface, the decision appeared entirely procedural. Royal duties are regularly reassigned. Responsibilities shift depending on experience and availability. But inside palace circles, many interpreted the move differently. Control over ceremonial planning carries considerable importance. Every entrance, every seating arrangement, every order of precedence, every official appearance reflects centuries of royal tradition. Entrusting those responsibilities to Princess Anne sent what many believed was a powerful internal message. Experience and protocol would remain the guiding principles of the monarchy. For Camilla, the reported decision was said to be deeply disappointing. According to several commentators, she had hoped to play a more visible role in shaping the modern monarchy alongside King Charles. Instead, responsibilities in this instance appeared to shift toward Anne. No public criticism was made. No announcement suggested wrongdoing. There was no dramatic press conference. Only revised schedules, updated briefing papers, and quiet administrative changes understood by those working inside the palace. Sometimes silence communicates more than speeches ever can. Meanwhile, Princess Anne reportedly carried on exactly as she always had. She continued attending engagements, meeting charities, supporting military organizations, representing the crown without commenting publicly on the rumors surrounding the alleged confrontation. That response surprised many observers. Rather than fueling speculation, Anne simply focused on her work. For decades, this has been one of her defining characteristics. While others often find themselves at the center of headlines, Anne has consistently built her reputation through reliability rather than publicity. Many royal historians argue that this unwavering dedication explains why she continues to enjoy enormous respect both inside and outside palace walls. As media coverage intensified, commentators began examining the relationship between King Charles and Princess Anne more closely. Unlike many royal siblings, Charles and Anne have shared a uniquely close bond throughout their lives. Growing up together during periods of immense public attention, they experienced challenges few people could truly understand. Over the years, Anne became one of Charles's most trusted advisors. She earned a reputation for speaking honestly, even when the truth was difficult to hear. According to former palace insiders and royal experts, Charles has long valued Anne's practical judgment because she focuses less on popularity and more on duty. That history may help explain why, whenever questions of royal tradition arise, Anne's opinion often carries considerable weight. Reports also suggest that the alleged incident prompted broader conversations inside the royal household about communication, leadership, and internal procedures. Palace officials reportedly recognized that misunderstandings become far more damaging when expectations are unclear. As a result, discussions were said to focus on reinforcing established channels for approving ceremonial changes and ensuring greater coordination among senior royal offices. Whether those discussions were directly connected to the reported disagreement remains impossible to verify publicly. However, royal institutions have historically adapted their internal processes following periods of tension. Maintaining stability has always been one of the monarchy's greatest priorities. According to continuing speculation, King Charles later held a private conversation with Camilla. No official record exists of what was said. No palace spokesperson confirmed details. Everything reported about the meeting comes from unnamed sources and royal commentators. Nevertheless, many accounts describe the discussion as thoughtful rather than confrontational. Charles reportedly emphasized that personal feelings could never outweigh responsibility to the institution. Being queen, he is said to have explained, carries enormous privilege, but also enormous accountability. The monarchy survives because every senior royal places service above personal pride. Whether those exact words were spoken remains unknown. But observers widely agree that Charles has consistently sought to project unity and stability during his reign. In the weeks that followed, public appearances appeared to continue as normal. King Charles, Queen Camilla, Princess Anne, all resumed their official duties. Smiles returned before the cameras. Engagements continued across the United Kingdom. From the outside, little appeared unusual. Yet stories like these continue to fascinate royal watchers because they remind us that behind centuries of tradition stand real people navigating complex family relationships under extraordinary public scrutiny. Whether every reported detail is accurate remains open to debate. Much of the narrative surrounding this alleged confrontation relies on media reports, anonymous sources, and ongoing royal speculation rather than official confirmation from Buckingham Palace. What remains undeniable, however, is Princess Anne's long-established reputation for discipline, King Charles's commitment to protecting the institution of the monarchy, and the continuing public fascination with every development involving the royal family. As always, separating verified fact from speculation is essential whenever following stories about the British monarchy. Only those present inside the room know precisely what happened. For the rest of us, the reports offer an intriguing glimpse into the challenges of balancing family loyalty, royal tradition, and the immense responsibility of representing one of the world's oldest constitutional monarchies. If you enjoyed this analysis, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe King Charles would always place duty before family loyalty? Or do you think the media has exaggerated tensions within the royal family? Share your perspective respectfully, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more in-depth royal documentaries and analysis.